Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling an absolutely critical mission for any network engineer, and that is hardening a Cisco router from its very first boot up all the way to its production deployment. We're looking at the definitive day one workflow, because think about it, when you pull a brand new router out of the box and power it on, it's essentially a blank slate, no defenses, no secure access, and absolutely zero encryption. Our job is to lock it down tight before it ever touches a live network. So here's our game plan for this day one journey. We're going to build security layer by layer. We'll start with understanding iOS access modes, move right into passwords and console security, set up our legal protection through banners, jump over to SSH hardening from scratch, and finally graduate to the AAA security framework. Let's dive in. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Understanding iOS Access Modes. You see, you simply can't secure a device's vault if you don't actually know how to navigate its front door. Cisco's operating system runs on a strict hierarchy, and knowing exactly where you are in that hierarchy dictates what you can and can't change. Let's contrast the two primary modes you're going to encounter first. You've got User EXE mode, identified by that greater than symbol. When you first log in, boom, this is where you land. It's basically a lobby with very limited read-only access. Then you have Privileged EXE mode, denoted by the hashtag. Now, this is the control room, and it grants you full diagnostic access to the device. So how do we actually move between these modes to start the hardening process? Step 1, you connect, and you're in that default user exec lobby. Step 2, you escalate those privileges by typing the command enable. That shifts your prompt to the hashtag, giving you that deeper diagnostic view. But to actually make structural changes to the device, we need step 3. You type configure terminal, which drops you into global configuration mode, and your prompt changes to router config hashtag. This right here is where the real hardening happens. Moving right along to Section 2, Passwords and Console Security. Now that we know how to reach configuration mode, our very first mission is securing the physical ports and making absolutely sure no plain text passwords are left lingering on the system. We just talked about typing enable to escalate privileges, right? Well, we desperately need to protect that escalation path. By typing enable secret, followed by your password, you create an MD5 hashed privileged exec password. You might also know about an older command just called enable password. Let me be clear, avoid that one entirely. Enable secret is the modern standard, purely because that hash ensures your most critical password isn't just sitting there in plain text for anyone to stumble across. Okay, so here is the exact day one hardening checklist we need to run through. Step 1, like we just covered, set that enable secret. Step 2, run the command service password encryption. This is great because it immediately scrambles all the plain text passwords visible in your running configuration. Step 3, lock down your physical console line, that's line console 0, by assigning a password and requiring a login. Step 4, set up an auto-logout timer on that console using eggs timeout, so if a session is left idle, it just automatically dies. Only after all that do we reach Step 5, saving the configuration. Now, you might be wondering, why does this specific order matter so much? Well, setting your enable secret before you save ensures your privileged access is actually protected if the router reboots. Running service password encryption early on guarantees no plain text passwords ever accidentally end up in your startup config. The golden rule here is you must never, ever use the copy run start command to save to NVRAM before setting these passwords. If you save prematurely, an unsecured configuration writes directly to the flash memory. It persists across reboots, and it literally leaves your device completely vulnerable. Let's jump into Section 3, Legal Protection Through Banners. Device hardening isn't just about bits and bytes, it's also about covering yourself legally. This is an often overlooked step, but every production device needs it. Look at this standard warning. Authorized access only. Unauthorized use is strictly prohibited and may be subject to criminal prosecution. You need exactly this kind of real-world language on your routers. Why? Because without an explicit warning presented to anyone trying to connect, any legal action you might want to take against an intruder could be severely compromised. You have to clearly, legally state that they are crossing a boundary. Cisco actually gives us two primary ways to deploy these warnings. First is the MOTD, or Message of the Day banner. This pops up before login, making it absolutely ideal for those heavy legal warnings we just talked about. Second is the login banner. This one shows up right after the MOTD, but just before the user types their credentials. Both of these play a huge role in the new device onboarding workflow, firmly establishing the ground rules before a single password is even entered. Moving forward to Section 4, SSH hardening from scratch. We've got the physical console port locked down, but what about remote access? We need to lock the virtual vault doors and ditch those outdated plain text protocols like Telnet. Here is your end-to-end workflow to secure a brand new router using SSH. First, it's actually a prerequisite to set a domain name using IP domain name. Second, you want to create a local user with privilege level 15. This gives you a powerful local admin account. Third, you generate your cryptographic keys with CryptoKey Generate RSA. And as a best practice, you really want a 2048-bit modulus for proper security. Generating these keys is the trigger that actually enables SSH on the device. Finally, step 4, run IPSSH version 2 to enforce the much more secure SSH protocol over the older version 1. But listen, just turning SSH on isn't the end of the story. We have to enforce it by locking down the virtual teletype, or VTY lines. You're going to apply these settings to all your potential virtual lines, which is typically 0 through 15. The real game changer here is the command transport input SSH. This explicitly drops any incoming telnet attempts and only allows secure SSH connections. Pair that with login local to force the use of that secure local account we just made, and again, throw in an exec timeout to automatically kill any idle remote sessions. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, the AA Security Framework. Everything we've done up to this point relies on local passwords on a single device. But if you're in an enterprise environment, we need the ultimate guard post, and that means centralizing our authentication. What's absolutely incredible here is the power of one single command, AAA new model. The literal moment you hit enter on this in global config, it activates the AAA framework, authentication, authorization, and accounting. But a quick word of warning, entering this immediately overrides all the line-level authentication you just set up. It's a total paradigm shift, moving the router from a standalone configuration straight into an enterprise-grade security posture. This AA framework builds a beautifully clean separation between who is allowed in and what they're actually authorized to do once they get inside. For authentication, which is just proving who you are, we use a command pointing to AttackAxe Plus group first, with a fallback to local in case the server goes down. That validates the credentials. Then comes authorization. Just because you're in doesn't mean you have the keys to the castle. The authorization command consults that same AttackAxe Plus server to dynamically assign your specific privilege level upon a successful login. It's an incredibly robust way to manage thousands of devices safely from one central location. So after walking through this complete day one workflow together, from understanding exec modes and encrypting local passwords, all the way to deploying legal banners, enforcing SSH, and implementing enterprise AAA, I want to leave you with a question to really think about. Are your production routers truly locked down? Or is it possible someone skipped a step on day one? Take these commands, go check your running configs, and make absolutely sure your network's front doors are as secure as you think they are. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy hardening.